November 30th, year 2020. It's a beautiful day here in Colombo, Sri Lanka. Bright sunlight, cool, chilling breeze, and the perfect ambience for me to record something that can transform your life for better. So, today I like to talk about something that Abraham Hicks is not talking about. Now, I understand this audio is exclusively for those Abraham Hicks fans. I certainly have been a great fan of Abraham Hicks content, and I understand what they're trying to tell the mankind is your ultimate purpose in life as a human being is to be fully enlightened. And when you are enlightened, you have the complete freedom and the choice to become whatever you want to become every moment. So that can happen only when you liberate yourself from the content of the mind. So this is essentially what Abraham Hicks is trying to say. And of course, people are going to listen to Abraham Hicks content mainly because there is this drive and motivation and desire to achieve physical things, like manifest things. And I can understand those desires are what is keeping a human being alive. So the point here is I'm not necessarily here to talk to you about how to curtail desires or desires are not needed. No, that's not. Abraham Hicks explains this so profoundly. If you listen deeply into that content, you can easily understand what exactly they are trying to say. The essence is so super simple. However, when I was listening, I realized that this massive collective consciousness beyond the veil, one would say the spirit realm or the energy of all the ascended masters realm, great teachers realm. It's a collective consciousness, and for some reason this wonderful woman Esther Hicks had a calibration process or deep desire to connect with the unseen world and the loved ones. And so her desire was so genuine and strong and pure that she was able to create a conduit, like almost become a medium and a channel to this massive wisdom. So what happens is that whatever said and done, there is this vocabulary and the conscious knowledge base Esther Hicks is possessing and she has, so to say, when she's sort of decoding these messages and broadcasted these messages. So even from the beginning when I was listening to her, what I realized was that there's a gap in the knowledge transformation, rather knowledge sharing process, is that she keeps talking about sit silently for at least 15 minutes a day and meditate and quiet your mind, but hardly teaches how to meditate. Now, people who have a lot of disturbances in the content of their mind, they don't know how to quieten their mind. They don't know how to meditate. So I thought I'll come and fill this gap with what I know. And certainly I got this inspiration several days back, but today is the day I develop enough momentum and the joy and the feel-good factor to record this audio. Hence I'm doing this. So how do you meditate? But before you sit down and learn how to meditate, you got to first understand why you need to meditate and what is the subject of attention. Of course, you sit down to meditate because your mind is too active, just like water, right? Now imagine a pond, a beautiful pond which has clean, clear water, and you can see the depth anytime when it is settled. So the surface is beautiful, crystal clear. And now imagine you're throwing a pebble at it, and as you throw a pebble at it, you can see that it creates ripples. So now you want to settle the ripples, right? You're in a rush to settle the ripples because you want to see the depth again. You want to see that crystal clear, calm, beautiful water. Now you imagine you're trying to stop the water by touching it, or further trying to sort of get into the water and fixing it. You can't do that. The only way you can settle the water is by stepping out of it and not throw anything at all into it. Also, just being patient, sitting by the side and letting the water settle down naturally. This is the same with the mind. Mind is a process. All the information that you take in through your 5 senses, then processed by the brain, and brain is coded with programming or previous conditioning, which is handed over to you through your mother, father, and through the socialization process. So every time you see, hear, feel, taste, smell, what you're actually doing is you're seeing what you want to see. Means you're seeing things, hearing things, feeling things based on the conditioning that was given to you. Now imagine a baby was never introduced to the taste of sweetness or bitterness and no reference at all to that. And for that matter, salty taste, like there's no label to the different distinct taste by the tongue. And this baby has never got exposed to this idea. And even when the baby grows up and become an adult, this baby will never recognize those tastes. It will understand the distinct nature of differences between the tastes, but will not call it sweet versus bitter, and will choose one over the other or have the desire to choose one over the other. There will be natural responses to those tastes. So similarly, mind, when it comes to mind, which is a process. So what do you mean by process? It's a field of energy which is in a continuous moment. So when you see an image, it's processing. And when you hear something, it's processing. When you taste something, it's processing. When you smell something, it's processing. When you feel something in your, as a tactile sensation in your body, you are processing. And then for the brain, you attract thoughts, right? So thoughts are like electromagnetic waves. So every thought that every human being has been thinking is in the air, right? So how I explain human birth is like we are born to a complete darkness. So if imagine the mother's womb, it was a complete dark cell, pitch dark, right? So there was nothing to be seen around, but you were developing the capacity to see by building eyes, and ability to hear by developing ears and all senses, right? So you were the pure potential source, right? You had the capacity to experience things, but you're not the experiencer or the experience itself. It just is just the capacity. So mind is one way we experience life, but that is not the only way. Manifestation is of interest to the mind, not to the soul. Okay? So when you have a lot of content in the mind, and I mentioned to you, so the brain attract thoughts. So all those thoughts, which is essentially in the electromagnetic wavelengths, right, in some kind of energy form, when they come and hit your brain, you say, I'm thinking. You're not thinking. You are the receiver of thoughts. You are the observer of your thinking, and you are the receiver of thoughts. So what do you do in meditation? You keep observing what's happening in your mind, just like you would observe the surface of a water. And then when you keep observing it, what happens is you create a distance between your mind activity and you, because you're not the mind, you're not your thoughts, you're not the thinker, you are the receiver of thoughts and you are the observer of your thinking. So you realize this phenomenon. When you practice it more intently, you develop your awareness and your awareness stabilizes, like your consciousness stabilizes in the awareness that I'm not the mind, I'm not the thinker, I'm the observer of the mind, and I'm the receiver of thoughts, so I'm the attractor of thoughts. Then more and more there will be a huge gap, slowly, gently, there will be a gap created between you and the thought processes, the flow of thoughts. The more gap you create, you find that you are able to manipulate these thoughts. Like you will decide, all right, I'm not interested in receiving this thought, I'll receive this thought instead. Just like you would change channels in a TV or radio. It's as easy as that. But this is hard for people who have not established their awareness in the awareness that I am not the mind, I'm not the body, I'm just the receiver of thoughts, and I'm the observer of the mind. I'm the sensor in my body. I'm none of this. I'm just that, as Abraham Hicks refers, the pure positive energy, actually the source. So who's doing this work is the conscious, logical, reasoning, rational mind. Now a baby is not listening to this discourse. Baby is not even interested in listening to this content. Only an adult would be interested, and an adult who's so desiring to achieve so many things in life. So see, now you understand even your need to listen to this content, and you were drawn to this content for some reason, and you're listening to this. It's all happened because of desire. Who has the desire? It's your mind. It's not you who has the desire, it's your mind, because mind is what creates. Mind is what was created after you came into this world, and it was programmed based on everything that came into you as an input. Then you got into the delusion that I am the mind. Then you wanted to have a great life because you are essentially is something so super great and complete inside. So you are trying to make it complete by having things, but you never had that sense of completion by accumulating so many things from outside. That's why sometimes when you listen to Abraham Hicks content, some audios, you can listen to it and listen to certain people who are saying, showing up even after 10 years saying, oh, 10 years I practiced what you said, it was a great life, I was so happy, I manifested so much, but I'm again in this empty place. I feel something's missing, and after 10 years I don't understand. They used Abraham Hicks content only to sort of manifest physical things, but that emptiness inside is continuously going on, because sometimes when you practice these processes, yes, you can manipulate the matrix, you can manipulate the grid of life, and you really can make things happen, because this is like a dream. Right? So when you know you are dreaming and if you're conscious about it, you can dream the dream you want. It's like you become the director of your film and you learn this art very well. Certainly you will direct the film you want to record, right? So that's what happened to people who go through this personal development path and then listen to this content and certainly achieve something. I went through that journey for 38 plus years, and then 2019, and I realized who I'm not. I was seeking who I am, and then more and more I investigated and went in that path as a seeker. I realized who I'm not. So I gave up everything that belongs to me, including my name. That's why now I'm known as JayaShri Maathaa. And everything that society gave, parents gave me, education gave me, religion gave me, I had to die. It was a conscious dying process. Then in the moment of my physical death, I was about to leave my body. I can feel that I'm ready to die. And I can now, in that moment, I knew I'm the creator. I had the choice. And I realized my immediate friends, associates, and the loved ones who were next to me, my students, fundamentally they were my students who were with me in the vehicle in that moment. And then collectively, so many people out there is waiting to hear a message. So I had the choice, I had complete freedom. I knew I can't come back to life. I came back to life in that moment. I declared my name to the 3 people who were in the car and said, I'm so and so. I'm no longer the previous one. So it was a conscious death. Now, in this audio, I want you to understand the stepping, very important, it's very important you understand why you meditate and what's mind, and then automatically you can do meditation. So the other thing I mentioned to you, that human birth is like, you are born to a pitch dark, it's a dark space. It is dark, that's why we need light. I repeat to you. It's so dark, we need light and we need eyes to see. So who are you? You are the light of consciousness. You consciously create this life not to suffer, but to become a light, bring light to so many things. That's what we all do during our lifetime. We think we are trying to earn money, we're trying to make a career, we're trying to build houses, we're trying to have a family, we're trying to find love of our life, etc. But actually what we are doing is, that's why these people come again and again after 10 years, 5 years, they come again and again and want to listen to Abraham Hicks. Why is that? They have accomplished so much, and still there's a gap. That gap is the gap of awareness about who you really are. So if you think you are all your accumulation and things you have accumulated under your name, including your body and the positions and the material stuff you have and the qualifications and the credentials, that is where you lose contact of who you really are. You are thinking who you are not. That happened because of forgetfulness. Right? So you come into darkness to bring light to so many things because you are light of awareness. Awareness, I identify and I see it as light. Something's dark, you become aware, it's lit up. So no longer there's darkness. So in meditation, what actually happens is you become aware, more and more and more aware about yourself, and more you become aware who you are, and more you become aware of who you are not. Right? And naturally, when you become aware of who you are and who you are not, you get to understand what is life and what is life is not. So in that process, there comes clarity. With clarity, you certainly can choose to manifest whatever. You really understand you are the God. You are the God that you are looking for. You are God himself or herself, no question. You come into a absolute, saturated, perfect knowledge in that, and then you begin to live life in the knowing that I'm the Creator, I'm the God. I'm the one who I was looking for, and I found myself. In that you can sing songs, you can write books, you can travel, you can share discourses. You are free to still do things, as long as you choose to hold the material of your body. Material of your body is made up of earth element, fire element, water element, air element, and space element. 5 elements. Right? So I thought those who are following Abraham Hicks can benefit with this content, and certainly I have been applying the concepts and the ideas of Abraham Hicks. As fascinating. I rather would like to say, rather than using it, because I don't have any interest of using anything to become anything now, but I have been experimenting and exploring. So what I'm doing is I'm synthesizing great knowledge in this world. I'm synthesizing, and I understand gaps between those great discourses and messages declared in the world by great teachers, great consciousness of different people living and transcended. And my intention is to sort of synthesize all this and bringing my awareness, my understanding about it, so that if there was a gap that I saw in those things, I understand many other human beings are having it too. They just don't ask that question perhaps because they're so focused only on the manifestation. I repeat to you, manifestation is only for the mind. Your soul does not need to manifest anything. That's why we finally rest in peace. So I suggest to people, why not live in peace, breathe in peace, smile in peace, eat in peace. And remember, one last thing, this discourse will not be complete without this content, right? So please pay attention and listen to this content as well. This is important to complete your understanding. Whoever was drawn to this audio is listening, and you will be in a completely different level of awareness after listening to this part of the discourse. All right, so please pay attention, smile and relax. That is, now going on the same discussion about some people practicing Abraham Hicks content so very well and having had experience of joy and happiness and even accomplished so many things, so-called material things, appearing again after 10 years. It's a gap, it's a vacuum inside. When you know what you don't want, you know what you want, right? So that's the game plan. So you keep drawn to something, right? Then finally, more you practice manifestation in the material world, you realize it's not about material stuff, it's actually about spiritual stuff, like my spirit. And so after a particular point, you transcend fully, like you have a permanent shift in your awareness, in your consciousness about who you are and who you're not. Now, this is what we identify in Buddhism also as, say, different levels of enlightenment. Say, one who's called the stream entrant, the first level of enlightenment as discussed in Buddhist philosophy, is the one who's fully aware that I'm not the body. This person has transcended that awareness, that I'm not this material thing, I'm the awareness. So then the awareness keep on evolving to the final level, which we identify in Buddhism as Arihant, the one who has fully liberated from the ego mind. All right, so what happened if someone listening to this and someone who's enlightened to the level of awareness that I'm not the body, and this person is also aware I'm not the mind. I understand is actually I'm operating from that place of life, but I do manifest things by default. I have this pleasantness, unpleasantness, loss, profit, feel good factor, not feel good factor, quite often recurring. Like I'm not really fully balanced in this movement, continuous movement from one end to the other. Maybe for 10 years, 5 years, I'm in this feel good factor overall, and then suddenly I'm in a dip. So that's what they drive them to come and listen to Abraham Hicks audios, or for that matter discourses done by people like us. Now, what happens to people who have enlightened about who they are and who they are not, but still they have to deal with the darkness of life? What is that? So in Buddhism, we actually use a word called ashrava. All right, so this is a Pali word. So what it means is, like, when you have accumulated your body, that is your DNA from your mother and father, your ancestry is essentially living inside you. And you have borrowed the code to live life from your mother, father, your ancestry. When you came in, you were nothing, and you had to borrow something. So the borrowing was the DNA codes. And based on the DNA codes, now you are becoming something. And you have developed your body. With the body, with every cell developing in your body, there's a corresponding mind content. All right, let me repeat it. With every cell developing in your body, there's a corresponding mind content. Mind and body are connected, therefore they affect each other. Without the mind, there's no body. Without the body, there's no mind. This is what we talk in Buddhism as Hetupala, or cause and effect principle, right? One does not exist without each other, right? Like, say, my voice. Now my voice comes, just is it because I have a body? No, I have this so-called essence or spirit or soul or Atman, you can call it, or sense of self, right? There's a life in me. So life together with the mind, with the physical structure, in harmony. It's like a guitar. When the player is playing the guitar, there's a great guitarist, there's a great tuned guitar. What are you going to do? Both of them have to come together, and there should be an intention to play the guitar, and the music should come out. So there are different variables that come in together to create this thing called creation, right? So when you grow up, you think you're separately growing up as so and so, but you're actually growing with all of your ancestry. Everyone is growing with you in your body, with every cell of your body has the memories of all who were there before. Okay, so you have the choice of making it different for the future generations. If you already have your children, I'm sorry to say, but I also congratulate. The news is coming even late. If you're not having children, congratulations, news coming early. So if you're a mother and father, already now you have handed over the previous unconscious stuff to your children. You can't stop it. They will go through the same pain and suffering as you went through. You can't stop it. Of course, they will experience it completely differently because they are different levels of awareness, right? They are not you, but they have the essence of your body structure, the DNA, the programming, the coding to live the life on earth. Okay? So now what happened to these people who are enlightened that I'm not the body? Then another person is fully aware. I'm not the mind. I fully understand, not as a knowledge, but through a pure positive experience. Let's say people like Sadhguru, right? So he had this experience at the age of 27 or so, I think, where he was just in deep samadhi for 13 days. He was not even aware. And he come out of it. He realized that everything is one. This unifying experience happened to him. Then only his life took on a complete different path. Right? So this knowledge of enlightened people, it comes with a pure experience, not knowledge. So people who have knowledge teach us, but people who have the experience, they just master the world. All right? They're the masters. They're not teachers, so to say. Now, what happens when you keep living life with the body that you borrowed from your mother, father, and through your ancestry, through your genealogy? Even if you are enlightened, these codings, these programs are there. That is what I referred as this ashrava, or the unresolved unconscious patterns, the wounds, the conditioning, the problems. It's like the things that had gone stale and no one was able to sort of resolve it. So as long as you have the body, you have the memories of all of your ancestry. And even so, when you are enlightened, you get to know you're not the body, you're not the mind, and finally you liberate from the ego mind fully. Even after that, you have heard about Gautama the Buddha, right? Even about the Jesus story, like all the so-called ascended or enlightened masters' life stories. Now, after their enlightenment experiences, it doesn't mean they were just having a party or like a great ball out there having fun. No, they also had so much of physical suffocations like sicknesses. Like Gautama Buddha, the story says that he had a lot of physical ailments and he suffocated a lot with his body. And many other arihants or fully enlightened disciples of him having different issues, social issues, people insulting, people hurting, and even Buddha had to met with an accident. Someone wanted to hurt him, someone wanted to kill him, but finally it just made a little wound in his feet, right? One of his own disciples tried to kill him. Now, what are these things that they were experiencing? Great human beings, they are liberated fully from the mind and the body and the whole matrix of life. They are the greatest teachers who made this world secure with their sacrification. They gave up all desires and they left a message, right? And Jesus had to die on the cross. He left a message at an early age, and his consciousness is ever present. I know that, right? Now, with all that, they went through suffocation. So this is what I'm trying to explain to you. We all, even after realizing, even after practicing Abraham Hicks content so long, the nature of our body, as long as you're in the physical body, you're bound to face all the shit your ancestors could not resolve, right? All those unconscious patterns, which is darkness. I told you, when you're born, you come into the darkness. You are the light of awareness. So your game plan is to bring light of awareness throughout. It's not about we are coming into this world to make a living. we come into this world to live life, to realize we were life, we are the creator of this life. So you just have to become more and more and more aware, right? But of course, initially it's darkness, right? And you develop the brain, you develop the full body, and you develop the wherewithal and the mechanism to explore life. That's what's happening. Then you get identified with it. That's where the teachings of teachers come in. So who are these great teachers, masters, ascended masters, living and those who have left? And their voice is still there within us. Right? So what do? They are the human beings who realize the game of life, and they leave a word. They leave nothing but just the word, and that word keep on echoing in many brains, and many people keep talking. If the word is so powerful, many people thereafter also keep repeating the same word, and that word liberates from what? From the delusion, from the Maya, from the matrix of life, and gives that complete freedom right now, right here, and of course after so-called death. And it's important when you practice these principles to live a great life on earth. Absolutely. Please go ahead and have a greatest time on earth and manifest everything you desire and be a happy human being. Remember who you are. Do all that by remembering who you are. And remember, as long as you have the body, how much of a sophisticated knowledge you have about the mind or technology about the physical body, you are bound to face the truths of life. And when you have the body which is decaying, it was a borrowing, it's impermanent, you can still remain stable in your awareness of who you are. So these movements that's happening in your body because of the unconscious programming that you took over as you took over this body and handed over through your genealogy, you don't get affected. Instead, you bring light to it. That's why when you are enlightened, all of your ancestors become enlightened. They get liberated. So they were also, on the other hand, knowingly and mostly unknowingly, through their desire, creating someone like you. They were having hope for their liberation. So they kept on creating and finally handing over their goods to another being. So you are actually hopes of previous generations who were not able to bring the light of awareness to many things in their life. So use the content of Abraham Hicks content and the things people like us share to be fully enlightened. Then only you can say you have done the work as a human being. Much love and blessings to all.